swale building by hand is what we are doing today. Michael M sent me some coffees to employ more people, and so it is one of the big benefits that I have from having these supporters is that I can do these things by hand, and that these people then have a way to support their families. Last year on my birthday we went and we fed, and I think we fed about 300 people, and mostly children, but there was an empty feeling about it. It was nice seeing those people, but I know sort of like a social signal, or what do you call those things, virtue signaling, by feeding all of those people. The real help didn't really come. And so then earlier this year I started employing many people, 4 at a time, 5 at a time, sometimes only 2, depending on what I could afford. And I think, one person has got 4 in his family. Sometimes I sit a week or so without work. And this really did, I think, change loads of people's lives. And it is because of people like Michael M. Obviously, if we had the funds, you can take a bulldozer, run through this landscape, make this swale at once, and that would take a lot less of my time. But I'm grateful that we don't have those kinds of funds available. Seems strange, but we really do have a big effect on the land this way, and we do have a big effect on people's lives this way. So then this swale will go through here. We'll make it quite wide. Don't take as much soil, but we make it quite wide, and then we go through here all the way. And so there's another swale for people that hasn't seen my channel often. There's another swale 50 meters that way. We planted the crap out of that one in the last 2 days, thanks to Mekon. We planted it and planted it and planted it. And so this one will go through. There's another gully here. Fix this gully up and then reach the end of the road, or the end of the property. There's just a bit of thorn bushes here, so I can't go in there just yet. And then from here it's only about 20 meters to the river. So this is probably going to be our lowest swale. I'm sure we'll do mini swales and mini Zaatsgieters and things like that, or what do you call those things, African smiles, between here and the top swale. Grass planting structures. The main swales I see as tree planting structures, and then the African smiles is more, to me anyway, a better grass planting structure, unless you make it quite a bit deeper. And so somebody said yesterday, I just want to get the sun right, sorry. Somebody said to me yesterday, after all of this digging stops, what do you do then? Hopefully by that stage we have enough trees that we will be mulching, chop and drop. I believe will become a daily thing. Lots of it will be fodder trees, so there will be animals added. And the thing about permaculture is that you can make it as intensive or as little intensive as possible. So you can take, say for instance, this is a wash here, make little plateaus in here. You can take that tree, plant another vine next to it. You might even put some buckets on top and water those ones. You can make just this little piece here, you can make extremely intensive. And then obviously the more intensive you go, the higher your yield is. So you can get it to top production, I believe, and get 20 times the amount of harvest of this land than anybody would get of a similar size land that doesn't go intensive. So I don't think we're going to run out of work. We might run out of green now during the winter. There's not going to be as much green, but then we can add chickens, we can make compost, we can return our focus to the pigs. we can do so many things during winter that you can't necessarily do during summer. So for each season, there definitely is something that you can add and do. So yeah, we added, just to show you the ground is tilted, we just planted loads and loads of grass seeds to see what pops up during the rain. We've had now 3 days without rain, and the swales are still wet. This wash is wet. You can see how high it came up, and as soon as you put a shovel or a pick into the ground, you get moisture. So we had so much capturement here that it really made this area very, very wet. Ideally, we would have had trees planted behind the swale walls there, and all of this would have been in fruit. But they say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today. So we'll get those trees in as soon as possible. Not sure if you will be able to see this on the camera, but these plants is actually a thorn, a weed that gives off a thorn. Let me see if I can find a seed for you. Now, I've even been advised by some of my users or my viewers, YouTube friends, to remove them by hand. And this year I decided to keep all of them. But what I'm not sure whether you can see it on camera is the amount of insects around them. Moths and butterflies. Thousands of them. Let me see if I can sneak up on this one. Yeah, I hope you can see that one. If you look over the field, now I'm not sure whether you can see this on the camera, but there's literally thousands and thousands of them on these plants. Now I also dug this morning into some of them. You can see here. Yeah. So there's still a little bit of moisture, and I dug into some of them, and the moisture is very close to the surface. And a week ago they were almost gone and dead, and now with the last rain they all popped up back to life. They've got almost a succulent kind of flesh to them, and they bring up nutrients, and this is basically a quick living mulch. Cool the temperature down for other plants to be able to grow. They grow well in the hotness of Namibia and many dry places. Anywhere where the soil's been disturbed. You can see the moisture there. So this year my children's gonna learn how to wear shoes, and we're gonna see the long-term effect of leaving these thousands of weeds on the property without just removing them. Planning on planting a marula tree, and then it started raining, so I'm not sure whether we'll be able to finish that today, but I wanted to show you at least where we wanted to plant it. I think this is quite interesting. It's been 3 days now since we received rain, and this is my champa. You know that Native American system, chamapwa system, where, well, accidental one where I accidentally built a swale on this side, or a swale on this side and a swale on this side, and we had a hole for a tree dug in the middle. But it's 3 days now, and you can still see it's moist. Look, I think we should maybe wait for the rain to finish, or should we just work like this? Huh? Moet ons werk so in die reën, of moet ons gaan eers bietjie rus? Kom ons gaan kruip eers weg vir die reën. Okay, so we're hiding from the rain, and it was close to going home time. So Lucas and Simon went home, and so we are receiving rain, which is fantastic. So the rain only lasted for a couple of minutes, and then it disappeared. So I want to show you some things in the river before we go. The cattle was in here again today. I wasn't here the whole day, so the guys must have chased them out. we cut extra bushes, extra things, and so people still had found a way to get their cattle in here, or the cattle was just not looked after and they got in here by themselves. Then we also had some warthogs, and I'm actually quite excited about, or honored, you can almost say, that of the fact that the warthogs chose to make our river their home for young warthogs. And so, but there's also obviously warthogs cause a lot of destruction, and once it's going to dry out, and everybody's land dries out, and ours is the only one that's green, then I will have to carry those warthogs as well. And that, I think that's why it's so important that scale, especially on open land, when you're in a suburb, you do it small scale, it's okay, but when you're out, you have to sort of go for scale. Cattle tracks, because then everybody can carry the burden together of looking after the wildlife. When you're the only green patch in town, the wildlife is going to come and swamp you. Now, I'm prepared to handle that and see how that happens, what's happening there. But still, okay, yeah, quickly want to show you. This is a Lucina. There's a couple of Lucinas still alive. I think the water did very little to damage them. So this will still be a Lucina hedge at the end of the day. But somebody was intrigued by my living dam idea, and I said, what if you use a species that you can lay? In other words, cut it halfway down, put it down, and then the point that touches the ground then starts growing again. So I was thinking about species that will work. And so that strangler fig, I think, is probably one of our best bets. I think that one will grow quite well. It sprouts from cuttings. The other one that I'm thinking about is mulberry. And so you start planting mulberry here. This then slows down the water. As the mulberry or the fig grows, you then cut it, lay it, and you start building a living wall where the termites, for instance, is going to break this thing down. But the living wall in the river will replicate itself. And then you can start doing that at every space where you slow the water down enough to have a tree grow for the season. Maybe grow until the next season. So those are the two species. I saw a video, I think Jeff Lawton did it a while ago, with bamboo as well, where they planted bamboo in the riverbed, and that sort of filled up with soil on the one side, creating this terraces. Now never saw the actual footage, so I got myself stuck in the bushes. Actual footage of it working. I just got a video, like a animation of it working, but I'm sure it must work. The other interesting comment I got is regarding the living edge at Emmanuel's place, and they said, well, I thought you're going to plant prickly pears and that's going to be the living edge. Now those prickly pears that I have, maybe I should walk there quickly and show you. Okay, so here is the prickly pear that he was talking about. See the long thorns. Now this would be perfect for a living edge. You can see this one, for instance, we harvested almost to the bone to plant the living edge at the other fruit forest. Not only did it grow back very fast, you can see all the ones without thorns are the new growth. So not only did it grow back extremely fast, it also put on some fruits. But the very interesting belief that these guys have is that these thorns basically comes off. And let me show you what I mean by thorns comes off. Yeah, these ones around the thorns, These little hair thorns, you can almost say. There, okay. There's around the thorns, you can see these little hairs. And they believe those things wash off. And see, there's a thorn in my finger now. Oh, blows off, and that blows into your house completely. That comes into your clothes and comes into everything. Now, there's basically no way that I can fix that belief in them. I tried. When I spoke to Lucas at first, I said, listen, this is the plan, this is the species, this is the idea. And he said anything but the prickly pear. He'll have anything. First of all, it will attract kids, which I cannot see how that can be a bad thing, attracting the neighborhood kids. But I'm sure in his neighborhood kids are maybe a little bit different than in mine. But second of all, they are very scared of these thorns blowing into their houses. So I don't know whether it's true, but I know that it's something that I cannot change from their belief system. So that, my friends, is going to be the end of the story. I'm standing here in a acacia grove right on top of my house. You can see it on Beshy's map, the Google map in the description. That is the end of my story. Thank you very much for everybody that supports me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.